Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a century-long chronological journey. We are going to discover exactly how a tournament born out of logistical nightmares, long ship rides, and financial crises became an absolute, unstoppable sporting juggernaut. We're breaking down the entire history of the World Cup. To really grasp the sheer scale of what this tournament has become today, just look at this number, 5 billion. Over 5 billion people, that's more than 60% of the entire planet, tuned in for the last tournament. It is, hands down, the undisputed greatest sporting event on Earth. But, to truly appreciate that massive scale, we actually have to loop back almost 100 years. We need to answer a pretty huge question. How exactly did a chaotic, thrown-together 13-team tournament manage to conquer the entire globe? It's a fascinating story, literally packed with boycotts, grueling boat journeys, intense drama, and a deep, enduring love for the beautiful game. All right, Chapter 1, The Birth of the World Cup. Let's dive right into the humble and, frankly, very complicated origins of this competition. So before it was even a standalone event, the Olympics actually served as the recognized Football World Championship. That started back in 1914. But things really shifted in 1928 when FIFA President Jules Rimet had this golden idea. Seeing how fast the sport's popularity was exploding globally, he decided FIFA just had to stage its own dedicated tournament. And incredibly, just 2 years later, in 1930, that wild idea became a reality down in Uruguay. Now, what's really wild here is the sheer contrast between then and now. Today, you've got teams flying on private jets, right? But back in 1930, traveling to Uruguay meant a long, grueling journey by ship across rough waters. Plus, Europe was in the middle of a severe financial crisis, so a lot of nations literally couldn't afford the trip. I mean, Egypt's ship got delayed by bad weather, and other invited countries completely pulled out. Ultimately, they barely managed to scrape together a 13-team bracket. It's a far, far cry from the globe-trotting mega event we're used to seeing today. The tournament had just started building some real momentum when World War II forced a massive 12-year pause. But wow, when it finally returned in 1950, it came back swinging. Hosted in Brazil, they packed a record-shattering 173,000 fans into the Maracanã Stadium for the final. Can you imagine that? That's like trying to cram the population of an entire small city into a single stadium. And that massive crowd watched in absolute shock as the hosts fell to Uruguay. To this day, that remains the most viewed World Cup match ever inside a stadium. Moving right along to Chapter 2, Pele and the Golden Era. Let's look at how the arrival of global superstars and television broadcasts completely changed the tournament's trajectory forever. The absolute turning point in this era was the explosive 1958 debut of a 17-year-old Brazilian kid named Pele. He absolutely lit up the tournament, scoring in all of Brazil's knockout games, and he guided them to back-to-back glory in 58 and 62. As we all know, Pele eventually claimed an unmatched 3 World Cup trophies over his career, forever cementing himself as the tournament's ultimate icon. But Pele actually wasn't the only one making history in 58. Check out this mind-blowing stat. France's Just Fontaine scored a staggering 13 goals in that single tournament. He was averaging more than 2 goals a game. It's an unbelievable record that, all these decades later, remains completely untouched. Absolutely wild. As global obsession grew into the 1980s and 90s, this explainer takes a dramatic turn into Chapter 3, Expansions, Cheats, and Tragedies. This was a period filled with confusing formats, extreme controversy, and genuine heartbreak. Okay, so to accommodate an expansion to 24 teams in 1982, a famously confusing format was brought in. Teams had to survive an initial group stage, which then fed into this totally bewildering second group stage made up of 3-team groups, which finally eventually led to the semifinals. It was honestly a chaotic way to organize a bracket, and thankfully they scrapped it by the very next tournament. And then came 1986 in Mexico, a tournament completely defined by one man, Diego Maradona. He fueled Argentina's incredible championship run with this wild mix of absolute brilliance and, let's be honest, blatant cheating. In that quarterfinal against England, he famously punched the ball into the net, an unpenalized handball that will forever be known as the Hand of God goal. But then, literally just minutes later, he dribbled past 5 players to score the goal of the century. It was just the purest encapsulation of World Cup drama. But the tournament also witnessed its absolute darkest day in 1994. The Colombia national team came into the U.S.-hosted tournament as heavy favorites. But their captain, Andres Escobar, accidentally scored an own goal, which really contributed to their early exit. Tragically, upon returning home to a country grappling with intense cartel violence, Escobar was shot and murdered. It was allegedly a hit organized by angry cartels who had lost massive bets on the team. It stands as a deeply somber, heartbreaking chapter in the sport's history. Shifting gears into the late 90s and 2000s, we arrive at Chapter 4, the modern global spectacle. This is where the tournament truly evolved into a high-stakes, technologically advanced global theater. This specific era was completely defined by titans clashing on the pitch. In 1998, Zinedine Zidane was just magnificent, right? He scored 2 huge goals in the final to lead France to their very first World Cup victory. But Brazil definitely didn't stay down for long. In 2002, they bounced back with the unstoppable 3 Rs: Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and Rivaldo. They were just terrifyingly good, absolutely dominating the tournament to bring the trophy back to South America. Yet even amidst all this beautiful football, the raw brutality of the game still managed to peak. And this all culminated in the incredibly dramatic 2006 final. Zinedine Zidane, playing in his last ever professional match, shockingly headbutted Italy's Marco Materazzi right in the chest after a verbal insult. Zidane was handed a red card and sent off, leaving Italy to eventually win the whole thing on penalties, while Zidane literally walked past the cup in quiet defeat. Just an unforgettable, shocking moment. Which brings us to Chapter 5, Messi, Mbappe, and tomorrow. Let's step into the present day, an era marked by goal line technology, VAR, and some seriously climactic battles. In 2018, the narrative was really hijacked by England. They had this incredible, totally unexpected run all the way to the semifinals. It had fans everywhere, especially in the UK, of course, asking one highly anticipated question. After decades of waiting, did football finally come home? Well, to put it bluntly, it did not come home. The underdog Croatian team boldly shattered those English hopes in the semifinals. Croatia then pushed all the way to the final, only to be taken down by France, who were being propelled by this blistering, rising young star we all know now as Kylian Mbappe. Fast forward to 2022 in Qatar. Now, as we know, there were serious debates and controversies regarding the ethics of how the stadiums were actually built for this winter tournament, but purely looking at the action on the pitch, fans witnessed what many are calling the greatest final ever played. We're talking about a legendary 3-3 thriller between Argentina and France. It saw Mbappe score a massive hat trick, yet it still ended with Lionel Messi finally lifting the one major trophy that had eluded him his entire career. And if we take a look at the all-time goal-scoring leaderboard, Germany's Miroslav Klose sits at the absolute top with 16 goals, just barely edging past Brazil's Ronaldo Nazario. But take a look right below them. Mbappe is rapidly closing that gap. He's sitting just 4 goals away from the all-time record, and he's still so incredibly young. Which officially brings us to the future. As the tournament prepares to expand yet again, this time to a massive 48-team format across North America for 2026, we're left with a truly fascinating question. In this massive new era, with more games, more teams, and inevitably more drama on the horizon, will these century-old records finally shatter? Well, I guess we'll just have to tune in with 5 billion other fans to find out.